today we're going to talk about something super exciting. Can you tell I'm excited? Yeah, we're going to talk about taxes. That's right, we're going to talk about taxes and how it relates to your 1099-K form. So you want to stick around because I have a lot of really good information. So if you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Susan, and I have been selling it on the platform, on the eBay platform for 18 to 19 years. I've done some sales in Mercari as well, but eBay is really my go-to. So without further ado, let's just get into this and let's talk about this. So the people we bought our house from in Tennessee, Tammy and Buddy, a shout out to them. They've been selling on the platform for less than 2 years. So if they have questions, they'll give me a jingle. Tammy came over one day to get her mail. Had some of her mail at the house. She came over to the house and she said, hey, on that 1099-K, do you know how that 1099-K is made up? Does that include the refunds? And I'm like, yeah, it includes refunds. Why wouldn't it include refunds? It should be net of refunds. Why would they not include refunds in that amount? Yeah, well, I was wrong. I'm just going to go to the punchline. I was wrong. So I am going to show you how I figured out this whole mess and the reports that I ran to figure it out. So if I go to my overview on my Seller Hub, everybody should be working in the Seller Hub. And there's that little toggle that says, you know, download form 1099-K. I think they started sending these, last year? Maybe a couple of years? It's when all that new legislation passed. You like the lovely background? Well, it's better than my house, which is in the process of renovation. So that's a much lovelier site to look at. Anyhow, so if I go over here and if you click on this download form 1099-K, it's going to come up and it allows you to download it, but I've already downloaded it. And so here's mine for 2025, and I sold $85,206.44. But the Scooby-Doo mystery question is, what does that include? So Tammy's question was, is that net of returns? And I told her, yeah, sure, yeah. Why wouldn't it? And then I started doing some research and I found out I was pretty wrong. And it could cost you some money. So let's just talk about it. Actually, so in here is the 1099-K details. So I showed you my 1099-K. So right here, you can download, it's a form 1099-K details, but basically it's an Excel sheet or a CSV file if you want to get technical, and you can download it and it shows all the detail, every order that made up the sale. To save some time, I have already downloaded it. Okay, so this is what you get when you download that detail report. So when I ran this report, I have added some columns. We're going to talk about this just a little bit later. This area right up here, we'll jump back to that and how I came up with those numbers. But basically, eBay says, this is the amount of money that was on my 1099-K, $85,206.44. I'm like, okay, well, what does that make up? So basically, it's the price of your item. So it doesn't include tax. It doesn't include the sales tax, but it does include shipping. So if you do free shipping, of course, then it's just going to be your item subtotal. And that's what makes up this gross amount. And I scrolled over and I noticed there was a refunds column. And the refunds were totaling $2,563.37. And I was like, all right. So if I scroll down, you can see here's some of the returns that I had, or refunds that I had. So I was concerned about the cancellations. I get a lot of cancellations because people buy my item and they decide it's the wrong part, or eBay shows them a listing that has a cheaper price, and so they cancel my order and they take the other one. So I'm sure it happens vice versa. So I'm not complaining. It is what it is, right? So here's my refunds. But I was like, is that, I see what that makes up, but I really don't know at this point, is it part of this $85,206? And you could pretty much come to the conclusion it doesn't, because these are all the gross amounts. So I did want to make sure that that refund amount was correct. We're going to go back to the Seller Hub. So under payments, you can go to reports. I don't know why they say reports, because it looks like it's only one. Just saying. Now I'm going to show you where I got the paid canceled orders but I was able to back into that $85,206.44. So this is the refund CSV file that I downloaded. And so if you go over here, I was a little confused at first because, here's that $5,659.19. This matches up. This is the total column for the gross transactions. I was able to match that up to that summary page. And then over here, there were reference IDs. And this is where kind of the light bulb clicked for me. So there's cancel IDs or refund IDs. And I was like, huh. So I went over here and I created a pivot table. So my cancel IDs come to that $3,122, which I deducted from the gross amount. And that comes up to the 1099K. So now I know that those cancel orders are a wash in eBay's eyes. And basically, it kind of went in and out the same day or within a couple days. So then now I know basically then my refunds are going to be this amount here, the $2,563.37. So now I know that if I deduct that, that's what eBay's coming up with. So what's left over is that $2,563.37. So what are the tax implications to that, right? What if I had not deducted those refunds on my tax return? What if I had just said, these are my gross sales, but I want to make all these other deductions, my fees, my store fees, shipping charges, gas money to go thrifting, just all those kinds of things. But what if I had not included the refunds? How much would that have affected my tax liability? And I want to show you that. So here's my refunds, right? My refunds were $2,563.37. If I had not deducted those from my sales, and you know what, you guys are all laughing at me and you all knew this, but I'm telling you, I didn't know it. Factored in at 30%. And that's about what you should be saving for your taxes. Now remember, I think I read something somewhere where it said to save 30% of your gross revenue. No, you don't need to save that much. You basically take your sales, less all your expenses, and that's your net income. And that's what you want to factor your taxes on. So basically, if I had not done that, I would have paid an extra $769 for my tax liability. Now, I'm not sure if I did it right last year. So I am going to pull up my old return and see if I did it right or not. Hey, put in your comments if you already knew this, because I didn't know it. And I had to see for myself. I had to tie it all out, as you can see from this video. So if you like this video, let me know. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Please, please, please. And begging is not a pretty thing. And hit that like button. And again, leave me a comment. Did you know? Did you not know? Do you care? Did you turn off my video right away? All right, well, that's it for today, everybody. I hope you guys, as always, I just hope you have a groovy day, and we'll talk to you next time.